Hello and welcome back. Thank you, as always, for tuning in wherever you happen to find yourself here in the world. It's very cool that this is an international community. And that's one of the beautiful things about this medium of technology, the internet, is we can reach each other from all over. That's very, very fun. So I really appreciate your being here. More than simply a view or a like or a click or any other statistic, which I do appreciate, I appreciate your commitment more than that. Your dedication and your commitment to your spiritual practice is the biggest thing. That is the highest, it is the best offering you could ever give anyone, anywhere, and nothing comes close. So, what you're doing in taking time out of your busy day, taking time out of your busy evening, or maybe it's not busy, whatever, you're here right now, and that speaks volumes. It's huge, in fact. And on behalf of every living thing, I thank you for that dedication and commitment to practice. So, what will you hear today that hits home for you? I have absolutely no idea. But let's stick around because we're having one of those for grown-ups, adult level kind of conversations again here today as we go through chapter 23 of the text, specifically section 2, which is entitled The Laws of Chaos. So we're going to look at something that is not flattering. Do not expect this course to be flattering. It's the ego that wants to be adored and stroked and flattered. That's not what A Course in Miracles is all about. So this appeals to some and it does not appeal to others. And if you're just checking this out, you'll know. You'll know because these messages can hit any number of different ways. One of them, in fact, is a profound relief, a deep confirmation that confirms something that you have always known. You've always felt that there is no such thing as sin. It's actually impossible. You're not a sinner. Feel that way? Good. You're not a sinner. Now, if you want to turn this off, go ahead. It's okay. Really, it's fine. Many of us were raised to very firmly and concretely believe in what this world calls our reality. And you could see it in a number of ways. You could see it as your plight, as your lot in life. Really, from a very early age, we're all conditioned by our parents, by our school systems, by the mass media, by the societies that we live in. We're conditioned to believe that we're an individual human being. That's certainly what it looks like. I mean, it looks like one's talking to you right now. That's certainly the way it appears. And so we run amok and we do life, and we're looking at the so-called laws that govern this supposed life here. It passes for our life, yet it's not our real life at all. And we all know that. That's why we're interested in spirituality. It is why you're interested in spirituality. You've always known. So these ideas that we talk about can serve as a confirmation or a profound relief. People have experienced just tremendous joy or a deep, deep relaxation upon hearing some of the ideas from A Course in Miracles. Now, you could have the exact opposite reaction. If you do, you do. Nothing wrong with that. That's perfectly okay. This course is not a religion, for which I'm very happy, and I hope you're very happy as well. Rather, it's a self-study curriculum, so you don't have to go one step further at all with this if you don't want to. No one is going to make you. So I think it's very important as adult learners, grown-ups, that we understand this. The ego doesn't want us to understand that. In fact, it wants us to reject these ideas, categorically inviting you to turn away and go look at something else, do anything but stay right here, right now, and listen to the message of the Holy Spirit. That's scary. Not really. But to the ego, it is. And you can expect that all resistance that you may feel, all of the thoughts of resistance and recoiling are of the ego, all of them. And this is true not just of A Course in Miracles, but any spiritual tradition at all. All resistance is the ego, attempting to preserve its little illusory life. So here in the world, when we follow it, we're looking for meaning in a real madhouse. We're looking for meaning in this world. Found it yet? Okay. That's not where we look for it. It is not out there. Now, here, while we think it's out there, there are certain laws that seem to govern this existence of ours, our lot in life, our plight, this series of years that we're here. Who knows how many that's actually going to be? We don't know. But we do know that this mechanism here is very fallible and one day ceases to keep walking around. We don't know when that day will come. The body is completely impermanent, as is the world itself and everything that appears in it. In fact, the Course tells us that the only thing that can even be said to be real here, the only thing that can even be said to exist here are our loving thoughts. Those are real, nothing else. So these laws of chaos appear to govern our, our lives. And while we look for meaning in this world, this is what we're adhering to, like it or not. The first law of chaos, truth is different for everyone. This is expressed in many different ways, and it is expressed, in fact, in different spiritual traditions under the term relative truth, which is a term that's quite common in Buddhism and a lot of Eastern philosophies. That, well, here in the world, truth is relative. Well, and it certainly appears that way, doesn't it? One person can look at a video or a painting or watch a movie and love it and be deeply moved by it, while another person thinks it is awful. Same movie, same scenes, same book, same words in print, same video screen that we're looking at. One person is deeply moved, another person is repulsed. Not a problem. Well, that certainly appears to be the way it is here. Truth is different for everyone. So along comes this thing called A Course in Miracles that insists otherwise. The very first sentence of chapter 1 of the text of A Course in Miracles reads as follows: There is no order of difficulty in miracles. In other words, all illusions can be simply gone past, set aside. Why? Because they're all illusions. There is no order of difficulty amongst them. One is not bigger than another. One is not larger than another. One is not more frightening than another. Truth is truth. Truth is true, and it is still true despite our mad, raving wanderings. There is no separation of any kind. So, how could there be orders of difficulty? That implies division and separation. There is no separation. So, but because we think truth is different for everyone, we just keep following down the proverbial rabbit hole. And then we land at the second law of chaos, this belief that everyone must sin. So we deserve punishment, attack, and death. Yeah, we've got what's coming to us because we're sinners. Miserable, pathetic. If you ever sat through a Sunday school class and really wondered about that, join the club. I certainly did. Now, people arrive at this course from all different backgrounds, which is perfect. That's exactly the way it should be. It is a self-study curriculum, not a religion, so it doesn't make any difference what your background is or is not. There is no sin because there's no separation. Think about this. Sin involves the transgression of one separate being against another. One offends another. If there is no separate other, there cannot be any offense, nor can there be any such thing as sin. And let's be perfectly honest, again, adult endeavor here. God has no ego to be offended. But here in the world, we wear our label of miserable sinner as a badge of honor. And as a result, we believe that we deserve punishment and death. And that leads naturally into the third law of chaos, which is extraordinarily arrogant on our part. We impute to God a punitive attitude. We're convinced that because we think we're sinners, we believe God agrees with us and is going to punish us accordingly for wronging him, for transgressing against him. Whatever that may look like. Is it having fun on a Saturday night, or is it something else? We assume that God is punitive, not possible. First of all, there's no separation of any kind. We're not separate from our brother, and we're not separate from God. There is no separate other. How can there be sin? Remember, it's not possible. It is simply not possible. And if you're sitting here thinking, wow, I don't know about this, this contradicts everything I was taught growing up, okay. The Course simply says what it says, and not a single one of us has to like it. Yet we find, and you may very well find, that this speaks to you on a very deep level. As in, wow, yeah, I'm relieved to hear that. I've always known. Yes, you have always known. We all have. So, God, perfect love, does not condemn. Love extends itself. It does not extend hatred. It's not capable of extending something other than what it is. Love extends itself. God extends himself. Moving on. There is a fourth law of chaos, and it reads here as you go through the text like a descent down the ladder into the abyss, which it really is in practical terms here. Because we adhere to these so dearly and so concretely that we find ourselves in a world of violence and chaos. And even if we're not directly involved in something as extreme as war or an armed conflict, the war is going on in our mind as we assume that we're separate from one another and think our judgmental, hateful, attacking thoughts, which we don't ever have to verbally communicate. The thoughts remain in our mind. The same actually also applies with our loving thoughts. Remember, those are the only things here in this world that can even be said to be real. So we're invited to forgive rather than blame and condemn, which makes sense, in fact. So the ego values only what it takes, what it gets from somebody. In other words, what it wrests from someone else's grasp, often by hostile force or coercion or manipulation, or our little game playing here on Spinning Ball of Rock. Because the ego values only what it takes, it leads to the fourth law of chaos. You have what you have taken. Uh-oh. You have what you have stolen or manipulated or coerced. You have what you have gotten from your brother. This implies something that's very damaging to our mind. It implies that he is lacking this something because you now have it. He's without, she's without, you have it. Guilt, most certainly follows with that. And we simply continue this descent. What we never ask is, what is it that we're really looking for? When we look at all of our supposed separate brothers, 8 billion plus all the other life forms that appear here, when we look out, supposedly, out at the world and our experience, what is it that we're actually looking for? We don't ever ask ourselves this. But because we've followed down the ego's rabbit hole with the first four laws of chaos, accepting them as our lot in life, our plight, our destiny, accepting them as truth itself, then we arrive at a really dark place. What we're seeking but have never found, we are not even sure what it is, but we believe that there is a substitute for love. We believe there's something out there that we can find that is a substitute for love. And we try to get it from our brother. It's a villainous and murderous intent. It really is. Because we think he's hiding it in his body. We may think he's hiding it in his wealth or his social status or possessions or something like that. But it's an attack thought, nevertheless. We think that there is a substitute for love. We think there's a substitute for the love of God, and we're looking for it. But guess what? We're not finding it. And when we look outside ourselves for this We're never going to find it. You're never going to find a substitute for love. There is no substitute for love. Here's what we're saying. God is the only reality. Period. There are not very many spiritual traditions that say this. Welcome. Welcome to A Course in Miracles. God is the only reality. Now, you may hear this and think, whatever, dude, no problem. And you may also hear it and have this really resonate. Yeah, that's possible as well. In other words, love is the only reality. Perfect oneness is the only reality. There is no substitute for love because love is the only reality. Which does mean, in case you're wondering, the physical body is not our reality, which you know. There's more to our experience than just meeting its needs, of course. Of course there is. The world itself is not our reality either. It changes. It shifts. God is the only reality. It's expressed in A Course in Miracles in fewer words than that when the Course simply says, God is, period, and leaves it at that. That, in fact, is as close as we can come, at least in the English language, to truth in words. And it's only two syllables. God is. It's something that you may, again, really feel that you've always known. There is no reality apart from God. Now, here's something. Yeah, you're not a physical body. You are not, however, an illusion. Remember, this compendium of 80% water and some bones and cartilage and guts and stuff is not you. Which, again, we all deep down recognize. This video, this course, brings it to the surface for our contemplation. I mean, again, this course says what it says. We have a choice in the present moment to listen to the voice of our inner teacher, the Holy Spirit, or the voice of the ego that wants you to keep doing what you used to do and seek the substitute for love in another relationship, in another shiny object, in another modality, maybe, in another job, in another home, with another car, with another set of fancy clothes, fine threads. Always look outside yourself. Never look within. That's what the ego keeps telling you. You don't have to listen to it. None of us does. We do not have to continue to listen to this voice, which wants us to continue to believe that we're separate. We are not. What do we do instead? Well, we look at all of this with the Holy Spirit. It's not flattering to think that we've done this to ourselves because we would rather play the victim. We would rather say, hey, God put me here. No, he didn't. We're not a victim of the world that we see. It's not coming at us. Unflattering truth. It's coming from us. We're projecting this. We're projecting the physical body as well, which is not who and what we really are. And we all do know that. Doesn't mean we have to accept it, but that's what's happening. So, granted, not everybody in the world is going to be jumping with joy to hear these words. And perhaps you're not either. Perhaps you are. I don't know. This has found you for a reason, and you're the one that will know what that is. At each recording, I have absolutely no idea what's going to appear to come out of this pixelated image's mouth. I don't really know. Each of these ideas, well, each video starts with a basic premise. Right now, we're going through a specific section of the text of A Course in Miracles, but what lands for you, I have no idea. You know, however. It's the Holy Spirit that's speaking to you. When something connects, you may count 100% on that. It's Him. It's the Holy Spirit. It's it. Call it whatever you want to call it. And the pronoun it is highly appropriate here because it's not a person, a man, a woman. It's part of our mind. And we could choose to listen to this. That's the invitation all of the time. So, yeah, this course points you to truth. So, should you choose to follow it, fantastic. It's very direct. Should you choose not to, that's also fine. Not a problem. A Course in Miracles is just one of many traditions, which is obvious when we look out there, isn't it? There are many different modalities, there are many different spiritual traditions that exist here on this planet, and they're all accessible right now here in the 21st century. With the advent of the internet and our modern technology, we can find out about any single one of them very quickly should we wish to. And there are many doors. There are many doors in spirituality. Not one of them monopolizes the truth. Truth isn't property, after all. So one is not bigger and better than another. This course is not better or bigger than another spiritual tradition. Remember, it's teaching you that there are no differences. None. So it's our choice to follow whichever of these traditions or combination of these traditions we want to. That is up to us entirely. So, because you're here, and it may be that you've continued to return to these videos over and over again, and you are a course student, because you're here, I do want to invite you to ask questions if you have them. There is no such thing as a question that's too beginner level or too basic or too simple. In fact, those are often the best. You never know who is going to need to hear the exact same thing that you're wondering about. And again, it's an international community. There are literally people tuning in here from all over the world, from every continent. Well, I don't know about Antarctica. If anyone's stationed in Antarctica, let me know here in the comments. But the other continents, for sure, right? It's an international community, and you could greatly and positively impact someone's journey. And you're not likely to ever meet them in person, which is really cool. I mean, it is. It's really cool and it's a beautiful thing. So please ask questions if you have them. And if you have not yet subscribed, I want to invite you to do that. The icon's over here in the corner of the screen. Click that and you'll be invited to join us. So thank you for tuning in, and especially thank you for your dedication and commitment to practice and for taking this time out of your day because we all have things going on in our lives that occupy our time. It means a great deal to every single living thing, not just to me, but everyone that you're committed to doing this. So for that, I thank you. And well, I mean, other people may not thank you for that, but thank you for that. It's very important. All right. So I will talk to all of you very soon.